What's up, everybody? It is Matt from ElectricAllWheel, and we are back at it again with the Lectric XPeak 2.0. Point of interest, will it work with a 52-volt battery? Before I even begin to answer this question, I need everyone to know that ElectricAllWheel only recommends utilizing a spec-rated battery, which is 48 volts for the 48-volt system of the XPeak 2.0. I have not tested this yet, so you will go through this video with me. If we do get success and it does run, I will take it out, put on the chest cam, and go for a ride. We'll get some speedo readings on it as well with the Insta360 Ace Pro and that GPS monitor that sits on the dash. And we'll take it on down the road and see if it functions with the 52-volt system or the 52-volt battery. Again, our recommendation is to only ever use the spec voltage for the bike itself. Never do an increased voltage for the system. You are at risk of blowing your controller and messing up your motor or the internal electronics for the bike. So be warned, we are not responsible for this upgrade of your own volition. So that being said, we're going to add a 52-volt battery to the down tube here, same kind of install that we did the last time. We will use the e-bike battery adapter so that we can shift an aftermarket 52-volt battery, a high-long battery, up the body here, still maintain some step-through room, and then we'll take it out for a ride. We have already done an install of a dual battery balancer, the 40 amp kit on this bike. So check out that video. We will leave a link for it in the description below. We don't want to go through all that work. This is not the easiest of installs when you pull the main battery and then remove the plate. So we definitely want you to reference that video for an internal install of the dual battery discharge balancer kit from ElectricAllWheel. That's the 40 amp kit. But we're going to use that hookup now and go ahead and install a 52-volt battery, see if we can get some action out of this thing, and then take it down the road with the chest camera mic'd up, and then we'll talk you through some of what we feel. We do recommend checking out our bike case suspension seat post if you are interested in an upgrade from the seat post from Lectric. I do advise that, especially if you're going to be adding all of this range for your bike. And we did have a request for some BMX bars. We are going to attempt this. Might be a little dicey with the length of the brake cable on the handlebars, but that will be another video. We will attempt to put some BMX bars on this e-bike. That's exciting. And then we have gotten the green light on an aftermarket display that will actually mirror your phone so you can have GPS live on your screen. Super excited about that. And we're going to have it made just for the electric e-bikes because you guys have kept us going for a long time. Also, we will be installing some Allscape tires on here. We'll leave links for all these products in the description below, and we do appreciate you utilizing those links to help keep ElectricAllWheel moving forward. All of these will be segmented videos in the future, and you might want to check out the half grip twist throttle install that we have done for this bike as well. It was interesting, and if you're going to do that, you can actually do a full grip twist too, just a different combination for the universal throttle harness. If you haven't already, give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. It is our primary, and if you're in the area, check out e-bikes of Tampa Bay, Florida. Get in that Facebook group, make an event, and go for a ride with your friends. Let's get to it. First thing we are going to want to do is remove these bottle cage screws. They obstruct the adapter that we're going to put in here. Now here is our adapter, and we do this because it provides a flat plate, and also with this protrusion from the bottle cage mount on the frame, you need something flat so that when the mount gets on here, it can't flex. Also, you will need screws that will fit inside this housing, and so the plate can run over it. So get some shallow head screws. we mention this because these, or sometimes the heads of the screws, are so large that they actually stick out over the plate edge, and it causes it to get caught on the battery mount. I'm going to shift this all the way up. These screws are M5s. Now I'm going to take my 52 volt, 15 amp hour high-long battery, and it will sit like so. Let me go ahead and make my install of my mount. Now here is definitely where you need these screw heads so that the battery will slide over, but you don't want a big protrusion down here because the plate needs to sit down on it. Now you don't want to screw it all the way down because it will cause some flex, so you just want to get it on there and then screw this one in. I tighten that one. Now we're going to tighten this one, and that should get us where we need to be. And now I have my extension cable here that has already been put on, which is perfect. And then I have my Tidy Helper cable clip that allows me to keep the alignment just so. And we are in it to win. This is hooked up. That was fairly simple. Don't be fooled. Installation of the kit is a little time consuming, so check out that other video. So now we have full turning capabilities. That's nice. Let me go ahead and lock this thing in. There's that. And then I have my bike case e-bike straps that I'm actually going to use to go ahead and hold this thing down so there's no jiggling. They come with the set of two. This one already is wrapped up on there. And they've got a nice no-slip grip on the back side of them, which makes it really convenient. There we go. So that keeps this nice and sturdy. And then I should be able to still slip my foot right through here. $59.2. Well, that is looking promising. 52 volts, 50, what is it? 58.4 is the top. All right, so voltage on the display is actually showing 59.2, and your chargers are for 52 volt are 58.8 volts. So this is just a little bit over, but we're okay with that. It's cut off. This is right in the range. We're 0.4 volts over at max when this thing is reading out. And so let's just go take it for a ride. I do like doing these rides, and this channel hasn't been much of riding. And we're hoping to really change a lot of that. But the one thing I like most about it is that I can record and actually listen to music at the same time. So bonus for me. One thing to keep in mind with this display is that all the way until, was it 54.6 volts, this will only be running off the 52 volt battery. So I think that'll be an interesting read. And then after that, they will be in combination until low voltage cutoff of the 52. And then after that, it will be the bottom end of the 48 volt battery, which is 20 amp hours inside the frame. We will do some range calculations at the end of the video to get you a range notion of what you might expect from something like this. All right, the voltage drop right now is showing, this is 58.6. So now we're looking at that notion of a full charge battery. And I am just gonna take off lots of throttle, and I think I'm just gonna leave it on voltage as we move about past 3. I am not normally a big fan of this situation, but this bike is really good for exercise. That's what I've noticed, and I applaud the notion of a torque sensor for exercise as it goes, and I appreciate that aspect as well. It's really important that you understand the difference, and a lot of people that are looking for the casual ride with a cadence sensor on their e-bikes, this ain't it. There's very much the notion of input from the rider with a torque sensor unless you just decide to use throttle. And so with the input of the battery, the drop here is showing this thing fluctuating between 57.5 to 58 volts. Now I'm on PAS 3 and I am pedaling. But most importantly, it seems like it's working. So a full throttle push right now, as it gets up to speed to 20, it's dropped to 56 volts, 56.1. That's full throttle, and there is a little bit of an incline here. So that is interesting. The drop's not that bad. I think about what it's gonna feel like when I put these BMX bars on this thing. And my biggest concern, like I said, is the brake handle with this brake hose and whether or not there'll be enough length to get it up. And then it's whether I measured from the stem high enough for it to be worthwhile. So, you know, live and learn. That's how we got here in the first place. That's how ElectricAllWheel has come to be. And I hope that's why you guys watch in the first place anyway. One thing I do like about this bike is that it is quiet. The majority of the noise comes from the tires. Not weirdly, it's just, I sometimes wish that they would do an appropriate pairing. If the sale of a bike is about the motor being quiet, that M motor being super quiet, then I would want, oh, I think I just bought a bike. Pretty, yeah. Oh, indecision. So looking at an Apis C2 in the box. See if we can pick that up and then do what we do to them. A lot of people are apprehensive when you do that, and I won't buy a bike like that off of Marketplace without having all documentation. So order number, receipt, matching serial, everything. And that keeps me in the clear. It also helps with warranty. When you come into companies like Aerial Rider, I mean, Lectric's not so bad. They're pretty honorable about it. But the problem is if the bike is stolen, then you've got issues because now you're working with bad goods. And by law, you have to give it up if it's found out. And I wouldn't want that anyway. So I always make sure that I get the documentation. So I have to set my price point, which is sometimes shocking for people because you know, I can't be paying retail for a used bike regardless of whether it's in the box or not. So my Insta GPS monitor should hold the distance routing for this. It'll be interesting to see what we get to right when we know that the voltages will match for a fully charged battery inside the bike and the combination of the 52 volt So that'll be at 54.6 volts is when they both start working together. And with throttle and voltage drop, it's getting close to that right now. Some very pretty Velotrix up there at the gym. That was nice. Discover 2s. Here we go. Heads up! The clown show doth go. I'll take you guys down the causeway. I'm sure you've seen this, but this is a good ride. I am very fortunate that it's so close. Got Frenchies over there. All these people are coming off of their beach day at Honeymoon Island. And then in a little while, there's going to be a whole other cycle of people coming out to watch sunset, which is always a big deal out here. So 54.7 on the voltage drop. I see it. It's getting ready to tap into the factory back. 54.6, it is now there. That means it's drawing a little bit from the factory battery, but if I just ease off of full throttle, it's still not. It's showing 57.3 volts, 57.2. So it's very temperamental in terms of how much amperage you're trying to get out of this thing while you're going. PAS 3 with my legs assisting, it's hovering at 57 volts and staying. So for efficiency's sake, you definitely don't want to do full current if you can avoid it, and that will give you the longest range. That was a setup and a half. That guy had it going on. I can feel my seat dropping. Oh man, I hate when that happens. My seat post is slipping. Look at this setup. That is a nice beach setup. Holy cow. Good for them. Some serious paddle boarding going on. Okay, there we go. Hopefully that's good. We are going to attempt to get across this bridge, which the big thing right now is the pedestrian crossing. So got to get out on the roadway. Full throttle is at 20, just not the best. So I'm going to go ahead and pump this up to PAS 5, monitor this traffic, and then get out on this drawbridge and pedal my butt across this way. It's typically not what folks in cars really want, but it's where we're at right now, and hopefully I don't get hit. Always wear a helmet, kids. And coming up over this drawbridge is where I really, really appreciate having a fat tire because of the grading here. It actually forces you to steer in an awkward manner. See, like this, right? No passing zone. I'm not going way below the speed limit. These people just can't handle it. So I've seen it tap into 56, and then right now, let's see. If I give it a little juice, it drops, and I saw 55. So we're just now edging into the use of the factory battery, and we got a full 48 volt 20 amp hour battery to help out on that. So this will give you quite a bit of range, and if I ease off and I just stop for a moment, voltage pops back up to 57.3, so you get an idea of where we're at. This is interesting. Used to be a whole bunch of cars could come out here and park, but since the hurricane, all that is stopped. But it does make for another quality beachy spot, which this hasn't been the norm at all. I think that the beach folks are going to end up liking this more than they thought they would. The jet skiers won't like it. So yeah, it used to look more like this. All the cars out here. This area is really nice. This thing does all right in the sand. Might take a little pressure out. This is a little more packed. The cars are able to drive on it, but it doesn't get too squirrely. Now, if it was super loose, I think I would have some problem, like it broke loose right there. But overall, decent traction, and I can feel the suspension seat post working for me. I'm currently listening to Hollow Life by Coast Modern. Fortunately, I can't play it on the video, or else they'll take away my audio rights. Running, running, running from my problems. Cha-chow. All right. It's all an illusion. So now, the one thing I do know now is, like, if I had the drone, I could just set it out there and catch this ride, and it's not going to be problematic. I got to remember that. This is a perfect setup to use the drone, the Hover Air Pro Max. I am not going to pedal hard enough to max that thing out, though. Holy moly. A lot of people heading up this bridge. Let's go ahead and get on up here. All right. So now we're 5. Yeah, we're definitely dropping into the 54s. And all these people are going to be pretty upset, but it is what it is. .5 uphill past 5. My legs are cranking pretty well. You can probably see the cycle. So hopefully they don't disrespect me or try and run me off the bridge, because I don't feel like swimming with broken legs. And it is not illegal for a bike to be on the roadway here in Florida, which would be another argument that a lot of people have had. Looks like we got a bike-friendly person behind us. That is very nice. Let's see about this van. Beautiful. All right. So there we go. I'm pretty happy with this. Get over here. I'm going to be on your left. Smell the seafood coming off of Frenchie's. It smells good, I just can't eat it. I don't know why. I'm getting better though. Shellfish, I can do shellfish. Not fish though. So down to the grouper sandwich. All right, full throttle, 52.4.3. I do wonder if I charged the factory battery. I don't think I did. So it's dropping this 52 volt battery. The concept is still the same. You charge them both up, it's gonna cut in at 54.6 and start using both. The balancer actually works in a way that it bounces back and forth between the two batteries really quickly, which ironically is why it doesn't work, plain 40 amp balancer doesn't work with the Aventon Adventure 2, because it has a smart battery with a voltage drop detector. So if the voltage goes off, the battery just cuts out. And so for that one, we use the high efficiency DX2 dual input, dual output combiner. And it's set up in the same way for the kit. And then it's actually a nominal 30, 60 amp max device, which is really nice. Dual output with a dual motor setup. And then we have larger, more capable versions as well. Watch myself on this side. They don't pay attention to us cars like that. Heads up! So, 52 volt battery will work with your Lectric XPeak 2.0. We are seeing that now, really dipping right at the peak of the 48 volt battery to where they will start sharing current and capacity, which is great. That just means that we're getting ready to get into a whole lot more range for this bike, and then maintaining that top end power of a freshly charged battery, which I like a lot. And I think that might be the advantage here, is that aspect alone. Especially if you can get a high capacity 52, you're going to maintain a higher voltage output. And so long as there's nothing crazy, you'll be all right. You want to see something cool? Check this out. Gopher tortoise. Not allowed to mess with them, but I can show it to you before it pops in the hole, I think. Do not disturb. You see his burrow, and then there's the gopher tortoise. And then somebody gave him a piece of cactus right there. Protected under Florida state law. He is getting ready to go home. He's probably worried I'm getting ready to do something funky, but now that I've not, he's stopped. But he's going in. She, maybe. It's interesting. It's cool. I like it. Better than a gator. Oh my God. So this bike, like I said, it is super dependent on the rider adding that extra oomph. It does have the torque multiplier, but you're gonna exercise if you wanna go 28 miles an hour on the XPeak 2.0. That's just the way it is. Well, there it is. Let's go ahead and close out this video. Decent ride. Well, there you have it. We have successfully installed and ridden a 52 volt battery on the Lectric XPeak 2.0. Once again, the position of ElectricAllWheel is to always and only install a battery fit for the voltage of the system, which is 48. This battery is 52 volts, and we do not recommend the utilization of a 52 volt battery in a spec 48 volt system. That being said, I know a lot of you stuck around for the range calculation, so let's just get to it. 52 times 15, that's a 52 volt battery, 15 amp hours. 52 times 15 equals 780. 48 times 20 equals 960 plus 780 equals 1,740 watt hours. We're going to divide that by 25. Now 25 is the Mica toll constant, which says it's 25 watt hours per mile ridden at 20 miles an hour, throttle only, and you get 69.6 miles at 20 miles an hour on your Lectric XPeak 2.0. Now, I cannot stress enough, if you're going to do this, you definitely want a quality seat, and you're going to want a quality suspension seat post. So we will leave a link below for the Bike Case suspension seat post and Cloud9 seat that we do utilize in a lot of our videos. Also, if you're interested in seeing the hookup for the dual battery kit, check out the video that's linked in the description below as well for the hookup of the original 48 volt second battery install here on the down tube. There is room enough for me to get my big feet right through this step through, so it's not at a loss so long as you use this adapter. And then this strap keeps it from rattling around while you're out there. This bike does make you exercise. There's no doubt about it. And at 69 miles, I can imagine how my bum would feel coming in, or my calves would feel coming in from that ride. But it's really nice to know that you can do it. We'll leave links for all the products mentioned in the description below. We appreciate you utilizing those links to help keep ElectricAllWheel going. If you haven't already, give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. It is our primary, and if you're in the area, check out eBikes of Tampa Bay, Florida. Get in that Facebook group, make an event, and go for a ride with your friends. We'll talk to you next time.